Today, I survived 5 of the most hated FNAF fan games. From games crashing mid-night to my PC literally overheating. You're gonna wanna watch to the end because they only get worse. Five Nights at Candy's 2. It can't be that bad, right? Looks like I lost a bet. Night 1. What could go wrong? A lot could go wrong. But did you know that looking at this office is completely useless? Because if you head to the cameras and just spam the rooms, the animatronics never kill you. Basically, there's no gameplay at all. Night 1 done. This is gonna take a while. Night 2. By the way, did you know there's a lot of Easter eggs in this game? From a Pop Goes drawing on the floor to this. Night 3. This is getting repetitive now. Each camera looks the exact same. What even is it supposed to be? Night 4. I wonder what Markiplier thought of this game. I love these minigames, but can I please move a bit faster? And while my dumbass is playing these minigames, if you've enjoyed so far, feel free to hit the subscribe button. It massively helps out. Final night. This is it. Alright, 1 down, 4 more to go. Trust me, they get so much worse. Case Animatronics. If you don't know, Case Animatronics is a 3D FNAF clone made in Unity, and it gained massive traction when it was first announced, with a demo being released, and oh my god, it's gone. Scott took it down for copyright infringement, and you can see why. This animatronic looks so similar to Freddy, but suddenly, out of nowhere a few months later, it was released on Steam with a lot of changes. So, this can't be too bad, right? I was so wrong. I immediately noticed my PC fans get really loud. My GPU temps were so high and turning down the graphics did nothing. But it only got worse from there. You start with a cutscene that has the worst voice acting in any game I've ever played. And then, the game gives you no direction. Within the first 10 minutes, I had to pull up a Steam guide on what to do. Not to mention how the entire gameplay loop is find keycard, unlock thing, repeat until the game ends. And the AI is so RNG based. You basically have to bash your head against the wall until the AI lets you through by pure chance. There is literally a checkpoint in this game where the animatronic spawns right next to you, and if they see you, it's basically game over. But the movement doesn't help either, with everything being so delayed and clunky, and for some reason there's just an invisible stamina bar. The only cool mechanic is the tablet, but even that is useless, because it's scripted to be dead half of the game. This is a 40-minute short experience stretched into over 3 hours of agonizing difficulty and pure RNG. That costs $20 on Switch. The cherry on top is the fact that the final cutscene is sequel bait. Oh, and not to mention the propaganda, what the f***. The Return to Freddy's. This is wild, and while the game has been wiped from the internet, I still want to talk about it. It was originally supposed to be a fan-made third installment of the series, being literally named Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and it was beyond scuffed, with there not even being any AI. Every move the animatronics made was fully scripted. Most, if not all, assets were ripped from the main game or even stolen from other fan creators. And because this was released before FNAF 3, many fans believed this was the actual third installment. And due to this, Scott got so much criticism that he had to reach out to BFP Films, the creator of the game, and ask him to take it down. So he did, and shortly after, he relaunched the game with a new name, The Return to Freddy's. But then he released a sequel, and then another sequel, and then another, and now there's 5 equally scuffed entries to the series, and so much lore. The developer literally added an animatronic which was supposed to resemble his ex, which he later said was his least favorite animatronic. He even tried to write a book where the term super cancer was a genuine plot point. And yes, this is a downloadable .txt file on GameJolt, not to mention the other stuff he's done now. Since then, BFP Films has vanished from the internet, but multiple years later, Luminant's team remade the first 2 games, and they're genuinely not bad, but this next game is so much worse. This is Endless Inside, an $8 FNAF clone on Steam that was released on the 22nd of December 2017. What is this game? Basically, imagine Sister Location, if Sister Location was somehow worse. So, when you first open the game, it sends you to a massive lore dump, explaining why you're here in pretty broken English. But it explains that you're in a university that was abandoned in 1985. And oh my god, what kind of university is this? Where am I? You now have to explore a bit before you hear this voice. It for some reason tells you the password to the security door, which opens you up to the rest of the university. You then have to explore until you accidentally stumble into Phase 2, Damaged Systems. You now have to complete 3 of the most confusing puzzles I've ever seen in a FNAF fan game, starting with number matching. It sounds simple, but it's done in the most confusing way possible. It's not at all clear what these buttons do, so I just spammed them for 10 minutes until I got it right 3 times over. Then you have to click this button when the numbers are in order, and then this. What the fuck? I just spammed. I still don't know how to do this. But moving on, because oh my god, it gets so much worse. Phase 3, the Little Wooden's Hideout. It starts out with you in the main area, but an animatronic is suddenly loose. You now have to get the flashlight from the auditorium and enter this classroom. And man, visually, it looks amazing. You then have to enter down this hole and play a mini game where you have to shine your flashlight at 8 of the Woodens. Sounds simple, right? This is the beginning of the end. I played this for over an hour. There is no tutorial, no anything on how to do this. Oh, I see why this sucks dick now. Oh, I love RNG Simulator. I paid $5 for this. Oh my god. Alright. My arm hurts. You gotta scan so far. Why are they laughing so much? What is so funny? Stop! Bro. Yep. Oh. What is so funny? What the hell? They're laughing at the fact I paid $5 for this shit. No. And after over an hour, I gave up because the next segments only gets harder. After a small lore cutscene, you're met with Phase 4, the hardest part of the game. In this part, you have to keep this ballerina at the right side of the screen by looking at it, but every so often, you need to look down to keep these other ballerinas in check. But as the night progresses, it gets harder and harder, with a wooden sometimes appearing when you move up, forcing you to move back down, or these other woodens that sometimes appear from the ceiling. And also, this animatronic sometimes opens its eyes. When this happens, you have to look back up to reset it. That sounds like a lot, because it is. And it goes for 6 minutes, with it slowly getting more and more intense. But if you push through and actually beat this challenge, you'll move on to Phase 5, where you have to wind up the correlating music box depending on which side of the audio is slower. Then you get to the last phase, basically the ending. Here you either pick the bad ending or the good ending. Both suck and result in either the souls are free or you die. The most cookie cutter FNAF ever. There's also a secret Phase 7, but actually it's so bad. But it gets worse. The final and worst FNAF fan game ever made, Dormitabis. This game is awful, with some of the worst graphics and animatronic designs in a fan game, an agonizing 12 nights of gameplay, and constant game crashes with the most convoluted lore I've ever seen in a fan game. It ticks all the boxes. In Dormitabis, you play in an alternate timeline as the spirit of the FNAF 3 Night Guard in Purgatory. Or at least that's what the community thinks, because this story is so convoluted that even the wiki doesn't know. There's over 10 animatronics in the game, each hunting you down for your plasma. Anyway, let's start with Night 1. You'll first notice how low quality every texture looks. It really has that 2015 FNAF fan game clunk. You're also introduced to the table mechanic, where instead of, standing up and walking around a table, you duck and go under it in this awful animation where you black out every half second. It's so disorientating. In this night, the only animatronic active is Havoc Freddy, who appears at the left door. You basically have to watch him on the cameras and then run to the other side of the office when he gets near. But oh man, the cameras suffer the same fate as they do in Candy's 2. Everything blends together and looks the exact same. Not to mention how clunky these animatronics look on the cameras. It really shows how bad these models are. And for some reason, you have to use this tab to switch cameras, and then minimize it and then reopen it to switch again, over and over. It is so frustrating having this in the way. You might be wondering though, how do you know how to fend off these animatronics? There's pages and pages of tutorials that you have to memorize. Why not use the phone guy for it? He already rambles on and on about pointless, overcomplicated lore that is so boring, like oh my god. As you progress through each night, different animatronics become active, and it's pretty much that until night 10, aka Garvey night. In this night, only Garvey is active. You basically have to listen to his laughter and his voice to find out where he is. And oh my god, this guy never shuts up. Garvey is constantly speaking with the worst voice acting I've ever heard. But once you beat it, it cuts to this end screen. And that's it, you get the bad ending. How do you get to the good ending? In each night, you can collect a total of 10 secret tapes of Purple Guy, also known as Garvey, talking about his evil plans. After, you need to find 4 keys, beat the Cardboard Theater, and night 11 and 12. And finally, you get rewarded with a newspaper clipping. In summary, some of these FNAF games really suck.